diamond. Now, of course, happened to be gold here in this cycle. But, you know, there's a good chance now, especially, that they could be back in diamond the next one. And on that note, too, the winner of this series here will actually qualify officially for that diamond division. So definitely, you know, again, so you still have a chance even if you lose here, but you guarantee if you win here going to the winners bracket finals. But then you have Havoc on the other side. They've actually never been to diamond. I was making sure of that. They've been in gold for the most part. They even dropped to silver, I believe it was even the previous cycle. But now here they back are in gold. So again, kind of excited to see, you know, what they can bring against a solid team, no doubt, in Pikachu. So it looks like both of the teams are actually ready to go with that said, and in fact have even loaded in. So I'm going to go ahead and get it myself, and well, there we go. I think we are ready to start what is game number 1, Trelf. So
yeah.
You good to go?
Yeah, I'm good.
Let's do this. Hopefully you guys are good. We got some HoN Tour Gold action coming at you today. We have Pikachu taking on Havoc. Let's take a look. All right, Pikachu on the Legion side, Havoc on the Hellborn side. Again, Pikachu, a team we definitely have seen before. You know, to some extent, a little bit surprising to see them in the gold division and getting knocked down. But this, at the same time, this is a team that, you know, I will say, I do believe, now that I'm thinking about it, I think they actually forfeited last cycle. Yeah. And that's, you know, not them. Sure, that's a big reason why they got knocked down, because, you know, that's just how it works. But to say the least, you know, again, this is a team that can definitely be in diamond, but they got knocked down. So they're trying to fight their way back, they could say. So, yeah, something to keep in mind there.
And, of course, the teal player there, Zichi, is actually, I believe, TPS Priceless, just playing on a different name. So people that are looking at the roster thinking, who is that player? Well, I think that's TPS Priceless. So, yeah, Nier is going to be their captain. I know that they've actually shuffled around. This is one of the teams that shuffles around their drafter quite frequently, actually. I've seen Mr. P do it. I've seen Book do it. I've seen TPS Priceless do it. And now Nier has been doing it. So they're kind of testing the waters, see what works best for them. But into the game, let's see what we got as far as blind bans and whatnot. Tempest Parasite coming out for Legion. Hellborn bans out Moon Queen and Wild Soul. Those two heroes in conjunction, Wild Soul and Moon Queen, seem to be like the top contenders for blind bans if you are in the second position. I mean, it seems like if you're Legion, your first pick, and you get your hands on one of those heroes, you're already in a great spot. So those are really, really strong heroes to blind ban coming out from what looks like Team Pika, because 3 of them are tagged up as Pika, but it's actually Havoc.
Good point. That's a great point to bring up. No, the graphics are not wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Pikachu is actually on the Legion side, but it just so happens 3 out of the 5 members over here are also tagged up Pika. So a little bit of trolling going on, you could say. But again, I think it's safe to say these two teams, they definitely know each other fairly well and having some fun with that said. So, but yeah, the true Pikachu team is technically on the Legion side. And then again, this Havoc team, as they're called, on the Hellborn side. So into the locks we go. Wretched Hag, of course, the first lock. More Access Magmus, actually, to follow things up. It's a little bit interesting there. But then there's that Keeper Ophelia going to be locked up coming out from Pikachu. And, you know, especially when you see an Ophelia in the lock pool. If you're the Hellborn team in this case, you know, perhaps putting Glacius on there as well could be a solid option. So we'll see again how things finish off here. But yeah, you're making the point. Wild Soul, Moon Queen definitely seem to be the second team blind ban status heroes. With that, you know, Keeper of the Forest has kind of died off a little bit as far as just being the absolute go-to. Wild Soul is definitely still there, but yeah, Keeper, it seems like, you know, teams are still willing to at least put him in the lock pool. Artillery is the final lock, actually, so a little bit of a different, probably more of a trollish lock there.
Yeah, definitely. And the reason, I'm actually surprised that the last lock wasn't Glacius, because I thought even if I was the Legion and I was, you know, debating on going some kind of aggressive jungler or even just a jungler in general, actually blind banning Glacius because of how good he is in protecting your jungle against other junglers that are offensive, namely, you know, Parasite and Ophelia. Ophelia is actually in the lockpick phase, or lockpick pool. So, yeah, that's kind of interesting coming out from Team Havoc. But other than that, Artillery, it's kind of like just a throwaway lock, honestly. I see TDM do this a lot, where it's kind of like it just kind of lowers the amount of options that the other team has, since you're going to get, like, you're already set on 2 different heroes. This last hero is kind of like, doesn't really matter. So it's kind of like a throwaway pick, so to speak. Although, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe we'll see Artillery.
He's been played before. You know, I do remember maybe once or twice. Seems like it was more of trollish games, to be fair, that I do remember him in. But, yeah, the chances of him being picked up, very, very little. But, again, this Havoc team, don't know too much about it. You know, you said we recognize some of the player names, sure, but Haven't really covered them before, so I'm curious to see what kind of strategies we see as a result of that. Warby, Silhouette, Zephyr, Tundra, and Jerizaiah so far going to be the bands. We're waiting for the final band now from Klaas Heading here, over here on the Hellborn side. Always a little bit dangerous saying names like that, because, you know, in different languages especially, not that it is, but you really don't know what it means. It's like, am I cussing everyone out in the stream right now? There is a good chance. Plague Rudder is actually going to be the first, or the final band.
You just made fun of my family.
Yeah, how dare you, Breaky? Yeah, guys, I apologize if that's the case. Engineer, though, is going to be the first pick coming out here for Nier, and, you know, it's hard to argue against that. So
yeah, no surprise there. And also, I would not be surprised if Draconis gets picked up here, with Silhouette being banned and Draconis not being banned, as well as Moon Queen being his banned up there as well. Draconis is just one of those go-to like carry heroes because he lanes so strong. He also carries to the late game, so he's a very, very strong pick. But Engineer, first pick as your support, you can't complain about that, really. Although I gotta say, you know, Glacius is still there, and he is still very, very strong against other junglers, namely the Ophelia. But maybe you have in mind that you don't want to go Ophelia, that you want to go for the Keep of the Forest. So Fade Pebbles coming right out here for Team Have. So
Fade and Pebbles.
Lots of ganking potential in the early to mid game coming out.
Yeah, usually it's one or the other, but I definitely noticed both of those being unbanned, making it through the stage, but the fact that they picked up both of them, wow. And on top of that, the fact that you also have a Moraxis and even a Magnus there in that lock pool, which were locked by Pikachu, also makes it a little bit more intriguing to me, kind of thinking about that. So, of course, what I mean by that, those are usually go-to middle heroes with the support, as we see constantly. Very curious, though, that now as a result of picking up both of them to see what our Hellborn team and Have It decides to do here with those two heroes. Now, we have seen Fade in more of a support-style role before. Kind of wonder maybe that's what they're going to go with here as a result of going both of those. But back over to the Pikachu team here. Again, it is so weird saying that, considering there's more tags on the Hellborn side. But anyways, back on the Legion side, now going with their final couple of regular picks right here. We'll see. Something I did want to bring up too, with this being a Gold Division match real quickly, is again, there, as well as, you know, trying to qualify back to Diamond, there is a lot of points and even prize pool still on the line. I mean, winning the Gold Division actually gets you the same amount of points in prize pool as a 5th, 6th place finish in Diamond. I mean, it's 1,000 points and $1,000, I believe. So, and these two teams, I believe it was Pikachu's actually 18th overall right now in the standings, and then you have It, there were something like 23rd or 24th around there. So, I mean, these teams are definitely up there, and at the very least competing for even like the top 16 spot, because remember those qualifiers coming up as of next week, actually, for the GSL. So, Draconis Bubbles, though, going to be the follow-up picks coming out from our Legion team.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point. So the qualifiers for the GSL event, but then in general, just trying to get to that 11th place spot, is where you get that extra tournament, so to speak, for HoN Tour. If you're not one of the top 3, well, you get in that tournament of 4 through 11, and then compete for that last spot of the HoN Tour Grand Finals in Las Vegas. So, and it's definitely not out of reach, man. We still, including this one, there's 4 cycles left to go, including this. Yeah. So there's definitely in reach.
Yeah, definitely a lot more play to happen. So great point to bring up there. I mean, it's, again, we've kind of been treating this as we're just getting over the halfway point when you really look at it, the big picture. And it's crazy to think that, because we've definitely had so much HoN already with HoN Tour and everything. It's been so great. But, again, knowing that we just have so much more, only from HoN Tour, let alone all the other events, the Sound Blast or the GSL, I mean, it's pretty crazy. Keeper of the Forest going to be the first pick, by the way, to the lock pool. Then the response of Ophelia Wretched Hag coming out here from Team Have It. So, again, now my first reaction to Team Have It is, well, one is, damn, is that a lot of aggression? But two is, how exactly are they going to lane it, actually, with the pickups that they went with? Are we going to see more of a support Fade, perhaps? Or is it going to be something different? Because I don't know.
Well, I think this is going to be a tri-lane offensively. Yeah. Either offensively or defensively. But it really should be offensively, because you're playing up against the Keep of the Forest. Now, the Keep of the Forest still could be... he still could be long lane or off lane, I guess. You could do some kind of tri-lane with Magnus, Draconis, Engineer, and then Bubbles mid. But probably not. Probably going to see the Bubbles in the Suicide. I want to say Mag, Engie mid, Keep of the Forest jungle, and then Draconis solo short. But against an Ophelia with all this, so many stuns on this team. Yeah. Tons of stuns, tons of aggression coming out early on. So I would not put it past Team Have It at all to, run the offensive tri-lane with Ophelia, like say Ophelia, Aluna, and then maybe Pebbles. Solo Fade mid, Wretched Hag solo short.
Yeah, the more I think about it when you bring that up, it would be kind of silly we're definitely not going to say support Fate, especially with the jungle option in there. It's just a matter if we're going to see that pseudo trial lane bottom or top. But yeah, we'll wait and see what Team Havoc decides to do. Again, as far as the Legion team lane goes, you're right. It seems like it should be fairly obvious for the most part what we expect them to do. But Near here on this Keeper of the Forest, whether or not he goes Suicide or the jungle, could determine if they are going to run actually that more of a tri-lane setup. So we'll see. Going to start things off with a pause here. Looks like coming up from the Legion team, so hopefully nothing too long. But you know, got to take care of the small issues. So. Obviously, as a result of this, looking at where teams are going so far, I mean, the usual, at least in this case, Pikachu, our Legion team, actually headed towards the bottom lane to protect that ward spot, whereas the Hellborn team also going down there. So possible chance at some early action, maybe, going to be coming out here between these two teams. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, Magnus does go the Hatchet Shield. I mean, so that right there pretty much guarantees that. Not going to see a tri-lane here on the Legion side. Most likely, like you said, that Engineer Mag middle, perhaps. So...
Right, and I mean, it's a very, very strong lineup. They have just an immense amount of team fight here on the Legion team between all of their heroes. I'm not going to run down the list because they all have amazing team fight. But honestly, I feel like if Havoc lanes this correctly, and by correct I mean like if they tri-lane long lane, because you're going up against a what's presumably a dragon in the short lane, and you can dive him early on. You definitely can. Now, he kind of has an escape mechanism in his Blazing Fight, and the fact that he gets that extra movement speed, but really against all these stuns, no. You get a good Minotaur from Ophelia, a little bit of RNG there. It's going to be very, very easy to get those kills over and over, not to mention you're going to be kind of screwing with Keeper of the Forest just a little bit. Now, he could transition to the other jungle, but that's going to slow him down just a little bit. So I think Pika, if they do that tri-lane, that they would outlane them for sure. Or not Pika. I'm getting that back to that where I see the tags. If Team Havoc does the tri-lane, then they would definitely outlane Pika. But if it gets past the laning phase, I think Pika will easily take this game.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, when you do look at Pikachu's lineup overall, I mean, whether you want to think about the lanes or who they're going up against, yeah, that is a powerful team over there. They just have a mix of everything. I mean, from gank to team fight to just late game carry, of course. They really do have it all. So, so yeah, we'll wait and see. Now, you know, I was actually telling you this right before we came in that I got the chance to actually look at some hero stats recently here with HoN Tour, and of course I don't really have them necessarily in front of me, but there's definitely several that stand out, and I do plan to put something together as far as releasing at least some of that information to the public, you know, getting you guys an idea of what we're dealing with. But on top of that, one that did stand out to me was that Draconis actually. Whenever he's picked up, it's actually it was something like he has like a 16-18 record overall, so 16 wins, 18 losses.
Okay.
So it's actually pretty damn even, believe it or not, with a hero like Draconis in a competitive game. So for people that, you know, may assume Draconis to be maybe a little bit too powerful, overpowered compared to other carries out there, I mean, the win percentage, and this was just Diamond-specific matches, was basically around 50% if I recall correctly. So again, just it is definitely fun, and I don't want to like rub it in, make it seem like I have access to these and you don't. Again, I am going to do my part to try to help get that out to the public and everything, but just one that stood out to me. So I find kind of interesting.
I love the way this new Pebbles kind of like you know, walks around a little bit. He's got a little hop in his step.
I guess it's the HD texture.
Yeah.
Of the new Pebble skin.
Might see a level 1 engagement here. The courier, and it's actually the Hellborn team's courier, but they're spotted out by one of the tree minions here. Engineer's got to be careful. My God, he was walking in a very, very dangerous spot. But he's going to be okay for now. He's going to sit bottom right now with Draconis.
He's still in trouble.
He's still a little bit in trouble. He places a ward right there.
Jeez.
But Luna was off to the left. It wasn't Pebbles, so he'll be fine, or he'll be fine right now. And where he's going to go, well, probably mid. But like I said, Draconis bottom against this tri-lane here. Coming out from, almost said it again, from Havoc. He's going to have a hard time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely going to be that. I mean, Pebbles, Luna, looks like they are headed bottom. And, of course, that means Ophelia in the offensive jungle as well. So as you're mentioning, you know, what does that do for Nier specifically? What does that do for Keeper of the Forest? Sure, he probably will make the early adjustment, but it'll definitely take some time off of for Keeper of the Forest, who's, of course, that very passive jungler hero, especially early on. So he's currently still in the well, spawning the trees and everything, getting the mana back. But, yeah, he's going to realize very quickly that perhaps some adjustments are going to need to be made. And as far as Draconis is concerned, now, Engineer was able to get the ward aside off, as we saw, of course. So Draconis should have somewhat of an idea as far as perhaps some pressure being put in and some tower dive attempts, which you can definitely do with an Ophelia in its aggressive lane setup. So as long as Mr. P is just very careful here, then he should be fine. But Yeah, this is definitely setting up for Havin to have a pretty good time. Now, in the middle lane, you have your Engineer Magnus versus a solo Fade. I think it's safe to say, I mean, this should be free farm here for Semi-Ju.
Yeah.
And Fade should really get absolutely nothing here. So.
Well, they've actually lost out on some lane control early on. Look, a double Archer in mid, so that's going to push up the lane. That is not a good way to start that lane, actually, for mid in a lane that's so strong against, well, really any solo hero. So that kind of sucks for them.
Here we go. Sorry about that. But bottom lane, Skeleton King is going to dive right here. The net comes out. There's a power throw on top of the Stalagmites already. Ophelia trying to chase. Not going to be enough. Yes, it is. Rhythmia right there on Aluna. Will get credit for the Bloodlust kill. So again, it's we talked about it. Ophelia, especially in the pseudo lane tri-lane setup, she will dive towers with those minions, and that's exactly what we saw right there. So Bloodlust kill coming out.
Yeah, good job by her. She did get a Skeleton King, and I like that they forced the issue. Like, it was getting a little to that scary point of where they might not get it. Oh my god, what if he turns on us? But forcing the issue against Dragon, and he's going to have to use the Blazing Fight. Looks like Aluna's is going to go toe-to-toe with him, apply some damage to him. But no, there's the, well, whatever that spell is called, the Dragon Flame, pushing back just a little bit. But, I was going to mention something else about this tri-lane.
Middle lane, I believe. Or was it back to tri-lane?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they warded the pull. And I found this kind of curious. When we have a tri-lane against one, and you have an Ophelia, I feel like you can utilize that pull to actually push up and get a very, very early tower. And actually, it looks like Kiba the Forest blocked this main pull that Ophelia's right in again, so she's going to have to walk to the other main hard camp. And that's going to be a little bit difficult with this tree right in her way.
Yeah, you do see down here, there's a Catman champion here, so if she can get to it, that of course would be very useful for her, but obviously this is where we start seeing some back and forth jungle harassment. Ophelia even trying to kill the animated trees off. We do see some denying as a result of that even, but right there, Ophelia actually does get credit for one of the animated tree kills. So Draconis kind of just wandering around. He knows that he, again, is just in a very tough situation. He's on top of a ward aside right here. A little does he know, so he's going to take a little bit of harassment, but be more than fine. Wretched Ag chasing picked up at the top, but nice take cover right there. Or I guess it did actually go off for the Bat Blast anyways, but Bubbles will fall back to the tower and be fine, but it looks like Wretched Ag and Bubbles at the top lane are having a good time going back and forth and actually pulling stats up for that. You currently have Bubbles who's only 5-2 and a Hag who's 9-2. It's only 3 minutes in. In fact, Hag going to go in once again right here. Doesn't have enough mana for the Soda Scream just yet. That could be the difference maker. Go to auto attack for auto attack. There's the Soda Scream. Will it actually be enough damage to take cover? I believe absorbed it, and down goes Wretched Hag. So they take cover, being on autocast, working out very well right there for Bubbles.
Yeah, and that was just really well played by Book. Really, really well played. He kept his patience, he kept his composure, and just auto-attacked him. He let Hag be the one that had to make a mistake. And not that Hag really made a mistake, but did get a little bit over-aggressive against Bubbles. And yeah, so good job by Book. And I will say that if you are trying to get that Sonar Scream off, you need to do it at the exact same time that you hit your auto-attack. That's really one of the only ways to do it. And Bubbles, he's going to get Shell Surf away, and he'll be fine. So Book doing a really, really good job, even though he doesn't have as much CS as Hag right now. Definitely doing work here.
Yeah, Book is a player that he's been around the scene forever. Anyone that, again, just knows competitive HoN, has watched for the longest time or been a part of it even, you definitely should recognize a player named Book. It's good to see him, again, still playing on the HoN competitive scene. Here he is with Pikachu, of course, and granted Gold Division now, but wouldn't be surprised, again, to see this team specifically back in the Diamond Division as of next cycle. But, yeah, always been a solid player, and once again proving that here. Currently back at base doing some regen, but we'll quickly head back up top, I'm sure. Rhythmia, in the meantime, on Aluna, he's actually harassing Draconis, who I believe was even trying to kill some yellow camps right there, and got a couple of them, but that actually Aluna came over and stole it with that haste rune. So Draconis, I mean, he's literally getting nothing. Only 2-0 creep farm so far, and his experience obviously very, very minimal. It's safe to say Mr. P is absolutely getting locked down. So a lot of pressure is now going to be put on this Magnus, really, you got to figure. The fact that he's having free farm here in the middle lane, Semi-Ju is going to need to make something out of this, so which I'm sure he definitely can, so we'll see.
Yeah, he is. And also, Ophelia's not getting as much farm as the Kiba the Forest, but Kiba the Forest has been forced to kind of go to the Ancients. He cleared the Ancients once. Now he's in the Hellborn jungle, which is going to actually have a much safer time and free farm a lot more. So he's forced to move. It's going to set him back just a little bit, but because Keeper's so good at farming the jungle passively, he'll be fine. But yeah, it's trying to free up just a little space for Mr. P on Draconis, but he's not exactly the fastest farmer in the jungle when he's only level 2. Maybe when he's level like 4 or 5 he can, but he's actually not doing too badly. He's making the best out of a bad situation, so to speak.
Yeah, it's struggling, but we'll keep an eye on Mr. P's farm and see how it recovers throughout this game. You do bring up the good point. I mean, now, not to get overzealous about it by any means, because at the same time, Pebbles is actually having a very good time himself. And he is the top farmer in the game here at the bottom lane. So at the 390 gold per minute, actually. Of course, he's the one that got the assist at least for the Bloodlust. But anyways, he was involved with that. Meanwhile, keeping the force, a little bit of pressure himself. He's going to be forced to fall back though, as Ophelia and Aluna coming up here. So Ophelia trying to keep the pressure on apparently here at the top side now, as is Aluna. And again, the Legion team, they've kind of just given up here in the bottom lane. I mean, right now you have Marlin anyways. Pebbles here have an absolute free farm. And again, we'll keep an eye on that as far as when he gets that portal key even at this rate. Bubbles might be in a little bit of trouble though, with Aluna looking to apply some pressure perhaps with Wretched Hag right here. But actually Keeper the Force is going to be nearby, and he'll spot out Aluna. So Keeper the Force continuing to take some harassment. But with that said, his farm actually isn't too bad. 250 gold per minute currently.
Yeah, well, one of the things that Habit's not doing that I wish that they would is, and they actually have an aggressive ward placed here by Pebbles behind the tier 1 tower at bottom, but no damage has been done to this defense tower. And, yeah, you have a free farming Pebbles who's got a lot of solo experience, but now with the rotation up top, you do have supports trying to put pressure on all the other lanes, but this is kind of, to be honest, freed up a little bit more farm now for Draconis, and if he's not going to get that much farm, he at least has a lane that he can farm in and get levels. Yeah. Just a little bit, so I would have liked to see them press the issue bottom just a little bit more and pressure that tower and kill that tower. They would have gotten it, like I said, if they didn't ward that pull too. They would have gotten it in like 3 minutes. So they wanted the levels. They feel that the levels on Pebbles are a little bit more important than map control and farm. Yeah. Magnus getting stunned right here by Fade in the mid lane. Probably not going to die. He's pretty tanky, but they are actually applying a lot of pressure to him right now. He's going to have to wait until that Lava Surge is off cooldown. He will be fine. Oh, well, the Skeleton King's coming over, actually. You see Ophelia coming to assist. Another power throw, perhaps, could get a kill, but no, not enough mana on Aluna, and Magnus will ultimately survive in the end. But speaking of that, I was actually watching Magnus for a while right there. He's actually just sitting here in these trees in the middle lane, just to the top of the Hellborn Tower. He was sitting there for a good 30 seconds, it seemed like, while I was watching him, and so I was kind of assuming that there was going to be somebody, whether it was Bubbles or Engineer even, kind of coming in to go for a kill on Faye, but nothing was happening. And eventually, Fade actually just kind of walked up there and ran into him, and that's where we saw that. So, Semiju was kind of missing out on both experience and farm with that said, and his GPM has dropped. I mean, it's under 300 gold per minute now. Yeah. When you look at that, and especially again, you compare that to Pebbles, who continues to have the free farm at the bottom lane. You got to question that a little bit. So, losing out on some chance there, unfortunately. And Rhythmic counters a ward as he TPs to the bottom lane. It's a lane ward there that was placed not too long ago, so good job for him getting that vision away from Team Pika. There is an Invis Engineer here sitting in the mid. Not to be crafty about this, though, because Fade is level 6. Yeah. Ooh, Magnus kind of making it a little bit obvious. And that's going to make Fade actually play a little bit more even scare than that. Oh, misses the stun, just a little bit out of range. Here comes the resistance. And so well played here by How makes sense, playing this perfectly actually in the mid lane. Yeah. Maybe he suspects, maybe he saw the Rune come out. I'm not sure if it was top, but if it was, they did spot out the Invis Engineer. Yeah, clearly he knows something. I mean, he is being very, very passive here and knows something's up. So unfortunately, TPS Priceless, aka Zitchy here on Engineer, will not be able to set up that gank, and Fade will survive. Meanwhile, at the top lane, Kelfa going to be used actually on top of Wretched Hag, but she blinks immediately. Keeper the Force was nearby Invis, ready to root was my guess, but Wretched Hag figured I might as well take the stun and not risk being initiated on after, and that proved to be the absolute correct choice right there. And now we see the tower, of course, going to be pressured. Ophelia's nearby, going to use a Vulture with the Cyclone, actually, to harass a little bit. Now, Bubbles is actually at half-life, so this might not work in terms of the push. We'll see, especially with Pebbles just getting a portal key, actually. Maybe if he wants to TP up here to even assist, that could definitely happen. But Wretched Hag is going to hold it off in the end. It's on top of the Tornado, and it's not going to be a kill. So, yeah, the initiation right there for the Legion team just not working out too well. Yeah, that was really smart by Wretched Hag, blinking away right at the second that the Kelpfield is cast. At level 1, the Kelpfield does not stun for very long when you break it. It's only 1.5 seconds. As the levels add up, obviously, it becomes much more effective. But it's a really smart decision as Hag to just break it immediately, because it's like you get the distance, but then you're stunned anyway, and you already have that distance when you're stunned, so it doesn't really matter that you're stunned. So it was a smart play by Wretched Hag. But the tower does eventually fall, credit to Nier. Yeah, again, good job just keeping the pressure up and ultimately actually getting the tower kill. Granted, Wretched Hag did do a very good job of actually nearly denying it, but not in time. So Book here on Bubbles, excuse me. Again, obviously working off that kill, but the creep farm has definitely been adding up. And on top of the tower kill, his GPM is quite a bit better right now than Wretched Hag, actually. So
He currently is sitting around 265 gold per minute. He's got the Steam Boots, Ring of the Teacher, and an early mana battery. For your Suicide Bubbles, not too bad at all. We do see Keeper of the Forest again still nearby. And at least threatening Wretched Hag with a root chance here. So Hag is forced to play pretty passive. Out the bottom lane, Tower will fall. And as I mentioned earlier, and of course he's showing it by now, Pebbles does have that portal key. He's had it for a little bit. And he actually already has another 745 gold saved up. So he continues to farm very well. Oh yeah, Fade striding in here with his ultimate. You have Keeper and Bubbles running away. Fade would want to go for Bubbles if anything, but I don't know if they're going to be able to get that. However, Keeper now might be in some trouble. Rev goes down just in case. If he's going to use an Nature's Failure right here, won't matter. There we go, and it doesn't matter. Sonar Scream guarantees a kill, so good collapse on a Keeper right there. Yeah, definitely. And in the tower bottom, that's going to provide them some more map controls. And then Pebbles has that portal key, and on top of that, another 1,000K. 1,000K. That'd be a lot. Dear God. 1,000 gold on top of that. So, yeah, it's actually relatively even right now. Only 1 to 2 as far as hero kills are concerned. So, not the most aggressive game so far, but I'm sure that's going to get picked up. Obviously, the portal key on Pebbles. You have so much aggression and just good stuns coming out. Oh, yeah. The Hellborn team. Yeah, the Hellborn team specific. Again, that's really the first thing that stood out to me on Havid's lineup over here was just the aggression is definitely there. And now that, as you put it, the Pebbles portal key, Fade, obviously she's level 7 now. She's even used her reflection a couple times here. Then Ophelia and Aluna on top of that. And Hag, again, her farm hasn't been the best to start things off, but it is actually picking up now. It's now up to 254 gold per minute. As she has her Boots, Mystic Vestments, and her Ring of the Teacher, and actually 1,700 gold saved up. So Hag pulling up quite a bit of gold right here, not even finishing her Boots just yet. Maybe that's because of just the situation and whatnot, but we'll keep an eye on that to see how he continues. The middle lane was being grouped up a little bit by Pikachu here, but they decided to fall back and not go for the commitment. Mr. P on Draconis, how has he recovered? He is actually sitting at about 200 gold per minute. Honestly, that's not too bad, again, especially when you consider how he started this game with absolutely nothing. Draconis is starting to recover. Always a dangerous thing to keep in mind if you're the opposition, of course. So, but yeah, really starting to just take advantage of this portal key here on Pebbles. You got to think is the name of the game. Unfortunately, he hasn't been able to get any hero kills with it just yet, though. Yeah, not just yet, but they have some good aggressive warding coming out. One in the enemy jungle, and well, I guess that's about it. But that's really all you need. It's just if you ward, basically, I've always thought about this is, okay, one ward on the rune is great. You have rune control and rune vision. And then if you ward at basically at this time in the game, like mid to late game, well, I guess it's not really mid to late game now, but just in general, yeah. If you ward in the Ancients, or by the Ancients, and then also in the jungle, then you basically know where everyone is. Where else can they farm if they're not farming the nukes and the Ancients, not showing on the map? Well, they're probably going for a gank, so I think it's really smart warding to at least have a constant ward here in the jungle. Yeah, you see Rhythme actually putting it in a rev, and he might be able to spot this ward of sight, but it's literally going to run at 4 seconds. So even if we went for the kill, it wouldn't matter. So that ward of sight is going to wear out, but he has a rev down just in case maybe another one is placed eventually. Portal Key, speaking of that, it now has been picked up on Semi-Ju playing the Smagmus as well. So again, his farm has started off great. It started to dwindle down a little bit for whatever reason, but now it is back up to a pretty respectable 345 gold per minute. So he has the Bottle, Steam Boots, and Portal Key pickup here at about 14 minutes into the game. Not bad at all. Bottom lane, Ophelia and Aluna kind of roaming down here. Catman Champion, Skeleton King combo out for Ophelia, but not really many targets. I mean, Draconis is somewhat pushing up right here. Especially if they get Pebbles, they could definitely go for the kill, as he is running down here now, with Fade actually going invis. And who is this? That is Blue. That is Keeper of the Forest. He'll need to be pretty careful right here. They do not have any vision on them to spot him going invis, but it might not matter. There's the burst damage, and you see them all collapse. Everyone joins the party. Yeah. And Keeper of the Forest, doesn't matter if you could have invis. Yeah, well done. And they just had to burst him down as soon as possible because they didn't have that vision. And it looks like they're going to try to go for a pusher in the bottom lane now. And I like that. I think this team just needs to keep the aggression up. And the good thing about this lineup, too, is you have two of the most amazing gankers in the entire game, being both Fade and Pebbles. And you actually have some, pretty decent farm and levels on actually both of them. And then Wretched Hag, she will actually be able to secure the late game for you, too. It's not going to be like the heaviest late game carry, but it'll be something. And I like the way that, again, I almost said it, but Team Have It
is going with this game.
Yeah. Bottom lane, however, great stun from Magnus right there. Gets the club. Keep the force running and Kitty charges time. No, he cannot. Luna, great red stun, but the kill field poured in from Bubbles. Catches two of them. Ophelia and Luna will eventually fall. So the root wasn't able to happen, but the great kill field on top of that gets the 2 kills. Pebbles will just portal key away, and that should probably be the end of that. You see Magnus with that haster, and he's the one that started it all off, and sure enough, worked out very well for Pikachu here on the Legion side. So the push at the secondary tower, they did get it very low, but staying in a little bit too long, as we saw, and eventually gets them killed. However, Fade and Pebbles are actually returning right here. Fade's ultimate is coming off cooldown right now, so if they do want to make an initiation, they could definitely do so, but no, they decided to fall back once again. There's this ward aside here in the lane, which probably did spot them initially, and gave them the key to fall back. Meanwhile, the middle tower, it is going down, and vulnerability coming out, though. Pebbles jumps in, he's going to portal key. No, he chucks on the Pebbles, actually, and he doesn't initiate. The tower is going to be denied. And there's that new announcer, by the way.
I love that new announcer. It's pretty fun. I have the Thai one, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, the Thai one, not the non-English one. It's pretty fun. But I don't even know what he's saying, but it's just so ridiculous and loud that it makes it more fun. Actually, top lane, Wretched Hag in a little bit of trouble here. Invis Magnus going to open up with the stun. Here comes, oh, there's the ultimate from Magnus. Too good. Bye, Hag. Yeah. And the spell is just too much damage coming out from Semi-Ju and Book.
That's just great coordination right there. I mean, obviously with Magnus alone, he definitely would not have been able to do that, but he had bubbles coming, the communication came out, and sure enough, they collapsed for the kill on Wretched Hag. So again, just great teamwork coming out from Pikachu, and as a result of this, it'll free up even more farm for Bubbles, who's got to be close to his own Pika. And actually, yeah, he has enough gold for it. 2,200 gold saved up, so he'll probably go to the outpost right here and purchase it perhaps after this creep wave. Meanwhile, we do see Magnus. He's going to get jumped on. There's Pebbles to follow up the Burning Shadows, and Magnus will just melt away. He doesn't have a Mystic Vestments, and that's something that you could definitely look to invest into.
Yeah.
Of course, against this Hellborn team, so something to keep in mind. But yeah, great gank on Magnus there in the meantime, and they are trying to push the middle lane. Keeper the Force being spotted out somewhat right here, but he'll just walk away as if nothing happened. So.
Yeah, Fade is so strong in lineups where you have another initiator on your team because, oh, here we go.
Yeah, they're going to jump on Engineer. He cannot get the energy field off. Out of mana on the Pebbles. Keeper the Force chasing. He is going to root right here. Will they get the support, though? In jumps Bubbles. Bucketing hits the 2 kills right there. Revelation's put down, but it doesn't matter. Look at Mr. Pion Draconis. He says, I'm back, bitches. They're going to deny the tower, and now Ophelia's also in trouble. Are they going to be able to chase her down? Bubbles probably can. He has shells over in 2 seconds. 1 second. Burning shells. No, not going to happen. Great portal keys right there. And down goes Claws heading on that Ophelia. And Pikachu will clean up. However, here comes Wretched Hag. A great Bat Blast to finish off Bubbles right there in the meantime. She turns around with the HoN under Keeper the Force. Fade is still nearby with a combo ready to go, actually. There's the Burning Shadows. However, the Invis with the Nature's Veil. Magnus stuns in. Wretched Hag enough mana to blink away, though. And now Fade is on the run. The red power throw just to the right. If that hit Keeper, that was a kill right there. But he's able to avoid it. So a little bit of chaos there in the end. But nothing coming from the end fight, at least.
Yeah, back and forth really in that entire exchange. But good job by Mr. P in the middle of all that. Was successful in getting the deny on that tower. So mitigated a lot of gold here coming out from Habit. So well played overall. Book is just doing so much damage. I'm going to look at this damage chart, and I'm sure he is by far the... Yep, so 25%. 8% is the next highest on his team. So he's really doing work here early on.
Yeah, no doubt. And, you know, again, you made the comment earlier, I think it was even 2-to-1 hero kills where it's like the action in this game necessarily hasn't been the greatest. All of a sudden, it's 7-to-6 hero kills.
Yeah.
And we're now 19 minutes into the game. And, again, that's kind of expected with the makeups that we have, specifically on the Hellborn side. Really encouraging that action. And it is picking up as a result. So, Luna going to do a good job, triple stacking her Ancients right there. Wow, Wretched Hag does have 2 Arcanas, by the way. Again, Rape's farm here on Wretched Hag has actually increased a lot. Is now up to nearly 310 gold per minute. So a Hellflower is definitely in the works. Another portal key here on the Legion side, actually just picked up by Keeper the Force, by the way. So now you got Keeper, who's level 11 with his portal key. Magnus is still level 10, so I want to at least get him that 11 mark, of course, for the level 2 Eruption. And then you got a level 12 Bubbles, also with that portal key. So the team fight is definitely really coming together nicely here for Team Pikachu. And the initiation factor on top of that. So again, that's definitely going to be a strength of theirs. And something, hopefully, for their sake that they can take advantage of. Now, Fade once again down here at the bottom lane. Going to maybe go for an open on a Bubbles, perhaps with support. Aluna's ready to red power throw if they can combo this correctly. There's the opening. No, the takeover going to be is the power throw. It does connect, I believe. However, the Burning Shadows can't go off. In comes the Stalagmite Cell, stunning him for the shelter port. And down goes Bubbles. So, Book a pretty solid reaction initially, but
yeah,
just not enough in the end.
Yeah, it was actually well played by both parties right there, but the numbers advantage clearly was in favor for Team Habit right there in the little exchange. So Bubbles does get taken out, and that's a big kill too because he's the top experience on Team Pika. And and your Wretched Hag in the meantime still farming away, 324 gold per minute. Pebbles actually is top in the game with 420 after that kill for him from Merrill and I.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot of farm. He's actually got a Shrunken Head and 50 gold if that's what he wants to go for.
Yeah, Merrill and I guess, I don't know. Anyways, yeah, Pebbles, as you put it, the Shrunken Head is actually, he does have enough for it now, helping to clean up some Ancients right here. So good job, good teamwork once again, really from both of these teams, but in that case, the Hellborn side and Team Have It as Wretched Hag continues to farm here at the top side. And again, she's actually very close now to her Hellflower. You got the Tablet also on a fade. He had a very horrid start in the middle lane for understandable reasons, but hell, he has a Tablet now on top of the Strider's power supply, and he's just about level 11 himself. So that's that key mark for a fade that you always stress, Trelf, and he's just about there. Magnus, in the meantime, he's still trying to hit level 11, actually. As right as I say that, he dings it, so good for him. Has another 2,000 gold saved up, but now, again, they got the trio, the Bubbles, the Magnus, the Keeper. They have the initiation. The team fight is definitely there. The question is, though, for Pikachu, do you necessarily want to stress that, or do you want to keep time for this Draconis? Probably the latter, at least until he has those core items. Draconis is choosing to go the Shrunken Head route first, by the way, not going the Nullstone.
I think that's smart. I mean, I think that's really, really smart. I mean, you're not farming very, very well at all, and it's not his fault. He's actually considerably doing not too bad considering his circumstances he had earlier on. Being pit up against the tri-lane to start, had to farm in the jungle, really has not been able to contribute to these fights too much. But when he gets that Shrunken Head, because of so much stun and so much CC and mass burst damage coming up from the Hellborn team, you need that magic mitigation so very badly. So I like that pickup from Mr. P.
I still bring up the Mystic Vestments, the power of that in this game. Hell for both teams for that matter. And so I was kind of want to just keep an eye on that. Magnus still without one, so I'd like to see one on him for his sake. But ooh, Keeper, the Force getting jumped in the jungle. And again, even with no vision to eventually, oh, they did even have Revs and Dust. I mean, he might have been dusted. But anyways, the burst is just so intense, it just doesn't matter. He doesn't even have time to go invis. And again, another case of that right there. So we got the Hellborn team. They're going to group up and push. Obviously, they know Keeper is down for another 30 seconds here. No threat from the root. Now, you still have a Kelfield and an Eruption combo on top of Draconis, which is still very powerful, but this is going to be an easy tower kill. It was already so low. No point to defend it either. And yes, it will fall. So great capitalize coming out from Habit. Meanwhile, the port's coming in the middle lane. Book already being locked down by Fade. In the meantime, will the jump? Nice! Alonis on top of the Hellflower. And Bubbles will fall right there. So great execution. Again, Fade was already there.
Yeah.
Waiting for the team to pour it in. She set it up beautifully. And in this Habit team, they're really playing it very well together.
Yeah, and that's what really the smartest players do in situations like that. They got the kill. They were all marching towards the bottom tier 2 tower, but Fade wasn't, right after the kill, wasn't even looking to go push that because it's like mind games. It's like, well, we know, they should know that we're just going to push this very easily because one of their key members of their team fight just died. So they're going to concede this tower. They're going to be like, oh, let's counter push, but Fade is already setting up. So it's awesome to see people do that, and that's what a lot of viewers can actually learn when they're playing themselves is if you find yourself in a situation like that where you have a very easy kill and you're pushing up and you see the other team counter pushing, well, when you have a great stunner to set up something for the rest of your team, then that's exactly what you can do.
Oh, Magnus does in here. Now the Ophelia Hill coming out. Fade may survive this. She's going to tablet away, and I believe she is in the end. Magnus went for the solo kill with his Eruption. I mean, I can understand she wasn't Half-Life, but a great Ophelia Hill. Again, going back to the teamwork here on Team Have It, and it keeps Fade alive, and it ultimately also just, well, wastes an ultimate, really. Coming out for Magnus, too. So, again, just good reaction and keeping their teammate alive. So now 24 minutes into the game. It still remains a 9-7 hero kill advantage, but you look at the overall stats, I mean, we're still at a 4,300 gold and a 3,500 experience lead in favor of this Hellborn side. Again, the big thing to remember, guys, this is a gold division match here, and you know, there's kind of two ways to look at this. Well, you know, going into it, it's safe to assume that, you know, people tuning in, where if you do happen to be, where it's the case, okay, it's gold, maybe we shouldn't expect that diamond tier play that we see every weekend. Honestly, I mean, I think we're getting very good play here. This is definitely diamond level play as far as I'm concerned for both of these teams. And again, it goes to show you just really how much competition is in HoN Tour, especially for this Have It team, knowing that they've never actually been in diamond. And they're, again, a win here, and even without a loss, they can still qualify for it going into the next cycle. It's good to see that. So I just wanted to stress that there.
Yeah, absolutely good for them. And yeah, both teams are playing this really well, but the aggression coming out from namely just Pebbles and Fade. I mean, we saw this. These were, what were they, first 2 picked, I want to say? Right off the bat, I think.
Yeah, they were. That's
they were
true.
first 2 picked for this team, and they're doing so much work. And very rarely do you see these 2 heroes on the same team.
Yeah.
But I've actually seen it a number of times actually by AL, Absolute Legends. They do run this from time to time with both Pebbles and Fade. And it's really, really strong.
Level 16 Hag now, by the way, too. So, I mean, hell, that's actually pretty damn crazy. She's 3 levels higher than anyone on the Legion side. 2 levels higher than anyone on her team. So, yeah, Wretched Hag has really kind of exploded here as far as having a huge impact for the Hellborn team. I mean, she's 3-2-0 overall, so the hero kill stats, I mean, not the sexiest by any means, but she's farming 375 gold from it. Again, she's sitting on a token of life now after that Congo kill. Another 2,300 gold actually already saved up. So with the Hellflower picked up, again, big news here for Habit. So as far as the Legion team is concerned, for Team Pikachu, once again, just getting Mr. P, continuous farm. Obviously, he has this Shrunken Head finish. Oh, Magma sets up trouble. Fade's going to open right there. Wretched Hag with the fall, the power throw on top. And once again, the coordination is there. Hag actually pushing to Keeper the Force now as he poured it in. They do get the tower kill, and now Keeper the Force going to be a chance. The dust is applied. Here comes our Golden Dragon, though. In comes the energy field. The Bat Blast going to be used right there. Keeper the Force will fall, but the Cataclysmic Assault activated by Draconis, hitting everyone, of course, as it does. But now it is worn off, and now he's going to try to Blazing Flight away. Eruption being channeled in the background from Magnus. He jumps in. Oh, great Magnus down right there on top of all 3 heroes. Pebbles is falling, and Pebbles will go down. Ophelia Heal, of course, already used. She is on the run, and she will fall, and Fade is just going to walk away, as well as Wretched Hag blinking away with barely any life. So, wow. Semiju right there. That was a hell of a Magnus stun right there.
Yeah, biggest buyback 2013 coming out from Semiju right there. That ultimate hit all 3 players in his line stun, and it's just a great job. Hag decided to go fight or flight. Well, flight seemed to be the better option right here. It did pay off because she could have just wasted the token and tried to fight right after that, but maybe she saw very quickly that Magnus bought out and didn't want to deal with that. So still has the token to go. So that was really smart play there coming out from Rape.
Yeah, again, it started off, seemed like to be the better for Habit, but once Draconis came in, even as under-farmed as he is to an extent, it definitely can show you the power of this Dragon hero. And the damage that he could definitely still put out in those fights. And as you said, a big buyback from Semiju as well, playing that Magnus. So team fight, once again, definitely there for Pikachu as expected, and comes together very nicely in that fight. So good for them as we now approach 28 minutes into this game. Fade, once again, though, with a fairly shorter of a cooldown now, being level 11, is allowed to just constantly roam around. She's going to take advantage of that here. And maybe try to initiate, depending on who it is, of course, by herself. Might not be the best idea, but Aluna is nearby. Granted, Aluna is right on top of a Rev Ward right here. You see, she's going to be spotted by Keeper the Force, so I gotta know something's up. In comes the open on to Keeper the Force, though. Pebbles will follow up as well. Now, Bubble Song on the Sea is going to be used. Keeper the Force may survive. Oh my god, he's just out of range, and I believe he is going to live at the end, unless we have a Power Throw snipe. Great save on a Keeper right there. There is a red Power Throw up from Aluna, but she is not going to use it, actually. And I believe in the end, Keeper the Force should. I'm just sitting on here waiting. But no, not going to go for it. So Keeper will live back at the well. He was very close to death.
That was so damn close. He didn't have to use his ultimate, but the ultimate was used by Bubbles, but it's a relatively short cooldown. So, yeah, good job for Pika. That could have been a really big pick because I don't know if they're going to get the tower here in mid now, but had they killed Keeper, that would have been for sure at the tower. They're still pressing this issue because they have the token of life on the Hag. And they still might get it, but it would be much easier, obviously, if Keeper was dead.
Yeah, our Legion team, of course, is not dumb by any means. I mean, they have a good idea that, hey, Wretched Hag's by herself. Probably not. I mean, the team is definitely here to back her up, so as you stressed as well, the fact that she has a token of life really giving them the chance here to push this middle tower. So Pikachu, I mean, they want to. Magma's kind of going back and forth, wants to try to maybe go in, make something happen, but again, as you can see on the mini-map, Habit is ready to go if they choose to fight right here. Whispering Helm picked up by Draconis, by the way, as he continues to farm at the top side. So again, just completely going past that Nullstone route, and in fact changing it up a little bit to an extent as well. Not going for the Savage Mace. I mean, going more of a defensive-minded build here with the Whispering Helm pick. Middle tower looks like it is going to fall in the end with little to no resistance. But yeah, Storm Spirit on Bubbles, by the way, too. They have that to work with now. So
that's a really good pickup here because the team is so strong in initiation, specifically with the Hellflower from Wretched Hag. You can basically mitigate that entire Hellflower by throwing someone up in the air with Storm Spirit. So good pickup there for Buka yet again.
See Wretched Hag doing some ancients and blinking away, but that token of life only has 30 seconds left, so of course it is going to wear off right here. Not necessarily being used, but again, I mean, that isn't really a bad thing at the same time, and they did get definitely a safe tower push out of it, so yeah, it worked out in that sense. So good for the Hellborn team. You do see the Legion side, they're going to group up here as they're going to kill the last Ancient, as well as maybe counter ward. Oh, I guess that Rev isn't in range. It seems like it should be. Oh, jeez, it must just be out of range. I guess it's because it's downhill. Might not see it. But anyways, that warded site will continue to block at least one more Ancient spawn before it despawns itself. So good blocking right there. And look at Hack's farm again. She was struggling a little bit, especially since she got killed by Bubbles in the earlier situation in the laning phase. But recovered very nicely since then. You got the Hellflower, the Shrunken Head, and just like that, another 2,000 gold already saved up. So Hag's having a very good time here, safe to say, for our Hellborn side.
Yep, Fade yet again in the enemy jungle, trying to spot someone out. Sees basically everyone here. There is no counter vision coming out right now, though ZG here wants to play something. Like, I can just tell he wants to. He's borrowing dust from somebody, so he's got a lot of basic items. No, like, decent farm, actually, though, on Engineer, though. He's actually dipping under 100 GPM,
yeah.
So not to say that he, like, really needs items, but it is always nice to have some core items on an Engineer, perhaps even a Blink, because it makes it that much more easy to get that energy field off in team fights.
Yeah, that, you know, something like even less, you know, Steam Boots into a Mystic Vestments. I mean, just stuff like that. Simple items like that just help you keep you alive a little bit longer, at the very least, to get off the energy field. So, but yeah, his just hasn't been able to get the farm. Of course, you know, has been focusing on the wards as he obviously should. Now this Rev ward, if I'm not mistaken, wouldn't that block the camp too? Where it's placed at the Legion Ancients? Seems like it's really close. Okay, no, wow.
Yeah.
Must be just out of range. But,
yeah, it's pretty close, but not that close, so it's still going to spawn there. Near blinking over to get some farm. Now his farm, he does have his portal key, but he's also got Steam Boots, and that's basically it. His farm is actually relatively low here for Keeper, and he's died actually a number of times, most on his team actually with 4 deaths.
Yeah.
So not able to get that much farm here.
Ooh, Slayer just purchased by Wretched Hag, actually. So you may expect it on Draconis earlier on like this, but no, Wretched Hag getting the Slayer already. And she is ready to make some auto attack, some right-click damage happen for her Hellborn team. So I guess 2 things. One, I mean, what do you make of Wretched Hag getting the going the Savage Mace route already?
Yeah, she wants right-click damage for when that Draconis pops the Shrunken Head, and I don't blame her, but I feel like it's just too soon. Like, I would prefer to see, like, another lockdown item, like the Sheep Stick. I just think it's much stronger. On Hag, you have 2 different options to, you know, keep 2 different people down at the same time, even if you're really crafty about it. So, and it also, you know, I've said this before, it's the +10 strength is kind of negligible, but it's something there that you get from that Sheep Stick.
Oh, Fade's in a lot of trouble. Going to be locked down right here. Hellflower's applied, and Fade will fall. The Bound Die dropping, and Pikachu will be able to pick that up. So Fade, I mean, her time came. We constantly saw her going aggressive and scouting things out, but you knew it was going to happen. It just does, and sure enough, did it right there. She finally got spotted out, and the Legion team capitalizes. So that's what happens. You got to be careful as Fade.
Yeah, they actually, I think they saw just a snippet of her right there next to that counter ward there. And then actually keep her in initiative with the ultimate. And I'm sure Fade was pretty frustrated at that. But even then, if you're just scouting around, you didn't have your team near you. So it's not like you were going to make a play. Obviously, with the clear vision, you can see what's going on. You can see all the heroes involved and near you. But yeah, it was a little overzealous. And you know, it was his first death, so maybe he was feeling a little bit more extra ballsy here.
Yeah, that's true. 3-1 and 5 now. Bottom tower push as a result of that, and you know, if you are having, you are a little worried about taking team fights, because again, you look at the team fight potential and side effect. Wretched Hag stays there for the tower kill, and that's going to most likely cost your life. No one on the eruption going off, but the Shrunken Head used by Rape, and she will be fine. So she does get away. I thought there was a Hellflower on it for some reason. But I guess there is none here on the Legion team, so that doesn't make sense. Anyway, she blinks away after the Shrunken Head use and survives. So she's stuck in there a little bit long to get the tower kill, but got the tower kill and survived. Worked out well for her.
Yeah, now one of the things against Wretched Hag with Shrunken Head is, yeah, I love Storm Spirit on Bubbles. I was just praising Book for going that. But it's going to be really, really difficult to actually get a kill on this Hag unless you get a Hellflower here soon. Now Magnus, he's nearing his. I believe he just purchased another Arcana, but until that point, it's going to be nearly impossible to kill him.
Got it.
Because that Shrunken Head is just so easy to pop out of anything. the enemy team has. The Keeper ultimate, the bubble silence, everything.
So he did just get the Hellflower, so they do have that tool now to use. But yeah, definitely will need to use it.
Well, now Token of Life is upon her, so
good luck.
Even then, if you kill her, it's like, well, the rest of us are going to die. Because you're going to have to focus so much of your time to kill that hag.
Yeah.
That, you know, now you can't do that because now you're going to turn your focus to perhaps Pebbles. Well, he's got a Shrunken Head too, so you got to be really, really quick about it. Yep. And actually, Storm Spirit, oh god, on to Ophelia.
Here we go. Favorite hero item combination.
It is so strong.
So strong indeed. Obviously, very good news for the Hellborn team. And Hag's not only got the Token of Life, but she's got to be getting close to that right-click damage of finishing the Savage Mace. You got to keep in mind. So again, going to be a big, big threat right here. 3,100 gold saved up on Fade. Actually, her farm's not been too bad, honestly. She's 230 gold per minute. Again, when you factor in she was 2 versus 1 for the majority of the laning phase.
Yeah.
But as you mentioned with her hero kill stats, I mean, she's 3-1-5. Obviously, that's helped and doing work for her team there, and you know, it's showing in the farm. So good news, more good news for the Hellborn side. Legion team, you do have a Slayer now picked up onto Mr. P playing this Draconis. So he too is going to do his best to finish a Savage Mace. As just like that, blink of an eye, all of a sudden Magnus is dead. You know, as being a cameraman in games like this, when you have especially this Hellborn initiation, it can be a little bit frustrating at times because they just blink in together and all of a sudden a hero's dead. But I can safely assume that's kind of what happened right there. Magnus just easily gets picked off in the middle lane, and here we go, pushing into the base. He is not buying back. He just got the Hellflower, remember. And I wonder if the Hellborn team is even aware of that. If anything, they're going to try to make a buyback happen, but he ain't buying back, so they're going to push this middle lane. What do you do if you're Pikachu? It's tough, especially with the Token of Life on Hag. You might just have to give this up, I don't know.
You're going to have to do your best to counter push this as much as possible, but here's the Savage Mace now. Delivered to Wretched Hag in full, so you're going to be able to hit from the low ground and not have to worry about those misses.
Keeper is pushing the bottom lane. I mean, he is going to get a tower kill down here out of this himself, but there goes the melee racks. Ranged racks might stay alive unless they commit to it and say, yeah, we got the melee racks, we can be good with that. She is still attacking a little bit, but not worth the risk. They do save the bottom tower. No, it actually gets destroyed by the Legion team, despite a couple Hellborn heroes being there. So I guess that's kind of one of those cases for Pikachu. It's like a bittersweet victory. I mean, obviously in the end, it wasn't really even a victory. It was making the best of that situation, as we say. But
did Keeper buy any build-up items? Because he just bought a Restoration Stone.
He didn't. I don't remember seeing him having the build-up items.
I just feel like I blinked my eyes and whoop, there's a Restoration Stone on him.
His farm hasn't been like the best. You were mentioning that earlier. I mean, it's just over 300 GPM now, so again, it's solid. And we are 38 minutes into the game, so. But yeah, I don't remember him having an Arcana before that. Maybe he did, actually. I don't know.
Looks like some baiting might happen up here. Yep, here's the bait.
There's the bait. There's the Bat Blast, but all of a sudden Hag's like, crap, this was bait. He's going to be turned on. Can they lock it on him? Nice catch him right there initially. He activates the Shrunken Head, and of course will blank away. You saw the root attempt from Keeper, but it did not hit, actually. And a Wretched Hag does get away, so ooh, that's unfortunate for the Hellborn team, or the Legion team, I should say. But they did get the Token of Life used at least.
Yeah.
Something out of that.
Well, they used a lot of spells. A lot of spells. I believe the only thing they didn't use was the Eruption. Or I guess the Kelpfield is up too, but Shrunken Head up on Draconis. They might, I mean, Habit might just push here. Yeah, they don't have the Token of Life, but a lot of things were used. So, and they're so much stronger at this point, especially as a team. Yeah, they might just press the issue and push your bottom as 5. We'll have to wait and see.
Fade, 4,400 gold now, saved up on Fade. So something tells me it is going to be a right click of a Hellflower, and I just want to double check on exactly how much that would be. Where the hell is Hellflower? 47.25 for that. So that would be coming up very shortly here, if that's actually what she wants to go for. But yeah, pulling up a lot of gold here. You know, an item that we do see from time to time on Fade is a portal key. Not going the portal key option here, however. So not going to be able to take advantage of that. Granted, she has a tablet, but still. Level 16 now, though. And that means her ultimate is, of course, it lasts, what, 50 seconds now? It lasts for 50 seconds, and it's only a cooldown of 60. So you do the math. Only 10 seconds in between there, where it won't be up if she wants to keep it up in that sense for vision or whatnot. But
yeah. Yeah, I'm very curious as to what she's going to buy. Like, I guess she'd get another Hellfire, but... And I guess it wouldn't hurt. They already have 2 of them, though.
True,
so
yeah.
Could be just maybe even another Storm Spirit. Hell, that would still be be worth it. So, but pulling up this much gold is very, very interesting.
Yeah, especially on a hero like Fade. I mean, if this was your hard carry, you know, or you absolutely want to save for the buyback, and you know, we do see a lot, it's like, okay, a little more understandable, but yeah, it seems like Fade should be investing. Again, well, we're getting into it's 47.25 is what I believe I saw. But then there's the argument, you know, do you want to save for a buyback too? More items being purchased. Shaman's Headdress just finished on a Ophelia, actually, so figure out how it works there. Energizer just purchased by Aluna on top of that, so.
All right.
Some solid team support there. Savage Mace has been completed on Draconis, by the way. So he has that damage output now. Again, he didn't build up with the Null Stone initially, but still, he has a Shrunken Head, Whispering Helm, and Savage Mace now. Safe to say he's getting to a point of being pretty scary himself. So.
Yep. And Pebbles is getting closer and closer to that demonic breastplate. Has a Hellflower and is dishing out a lot of damage too in these team fights. And from start to finish, I mean, obviously had basically an open lane there in the bottom lane, but from start to finish right now, his farming has been phenomenal. But really the big key maker, or the playmaker here for this Hellborn team is that Wretched Hag. Had not the greatest start because of the death early on, but nearing 500 gold per minute now.
Yeah.
So they might wait here, honestly, because they're playing just a little bit more passively until the next Kongor. But Pikachu says no, they don't want them to wait. They actually want to start pushing up and fighting as a team. Like I did mention at the beginning of the cast, this is a very strong team fight team, but because of the gank potential coming out specifically from Fade, setting it up in the backfield with the clear vision, makes it a little bit more difficult.
Oh, Bubbles wants to chase. Aluna's going to be caught right here. She tries to Energizer. No, that's the Energizer buff. That's not the. I thought that too for a second.
Oh, wow.
I looked at the buffs and I didn't see teleport, so it kind of glows like that, I guess. But anyways, she gets caught. She gets killed. Down for another 30 seconds. Is that ultimately going to result in anything here? Probably not, to be honest. But good pick nonetheless from Pikachu. But yeah, that definitely caught me off guard too.
I got juked. I was thinking, would Ophelia buy a portal key, send her back, and then portal key away? She was kind of far away. I was like, but yeah, it looked very, very similar. I'd have to wait and see, look at that again. I
wasn't aware of that. It's that similar. Nope, definitely see what you're saying, but in the end, she is fine. 4,900 gold now on Fade. Jeez. Saving up for something pretty big. I mean, a sheep stick is...
Could be.
Something like that, I guess. I don't know. She's going to find some more right here, but again, she did get caught earlier, so always got to be careful when doing this. At this point, granted, she does have a bound eye, and that obviously helps. More gold being pulled up. 3,500 on Bubbles and counting, so he's saving up quite a bit himself. Hag, of course, she's got that Blessed Orb now, and another 2,400. So actually, could be that sheep stick that you were referring to earlier instead of the Savage Mace, but now could have both of them.
Yeah.
At this point.
She said, "You like this one over that one? Man, how about I get both?
Just get both.
How about I get both?
That works for me."
Now there's a Ward of Sight placed here by Zichi here in Kongor. That needs to get countered here relatively soon, though Fade does have that bound die still. And one of the most overpowered things, I think, in the game, on top of the Storm Spirit on Ophelia, is the bound die on Fade. Yeah. It makes it so easy to just run around the map with the extra movement speed, the clear vision, and then having the vision of wards on top of that is so very strong.
It's a strong tool to use, and a big reason, part of many reasons, frankly, to pick her up. 5,700. Okay, it is a straight-up sheep stick. She just right-clicks a sheep stick right there, and it is going to be delivered. So, now, I mean, that is one of those items where it's like, if you are going to bulk up that much money, I'm not necessarily against it, despite that usually being a pet peeve of mine. Yeah. Because, I mean, the Blessed Orb, you've always said it's not the most cost-effective. You know, the Acolyte Staff, what would that ultimately do for Fade?
Exactly.
Not much.
Yeah.
Then the Mana Tube, yeah, it's not much either. So,
also, this is going to be a complete surprise to the Legion team.
True.
They have no idea what Fade was hoarding up that gold with.
Very true. Well, she is trying to maybe get a setup going. At the very least, you know, scouting out here once again for the Hellborn team and giving them plenty of information to work with. Now, again, she needs to be careful here, not to get too close. There is a bound eye and engineer,
and even actually that ranged creep was walking toward her.
Yeah,
just for a second there. So
so they might have saw. Yeah, they might have saw that. So they are kind of clumped up themselves as if something might be going up. But in the end, she will fall back, and no initiation just yet.
Well, this is going to be terrible timing if Kongor respawns anytime because you have mid lane pushing out. And actually bottom lane is pushing out too. And they're actually literally waiting here for Kongor. I don't know if they know the timer or not, but I feel like it should be respawning here relatively soon. And if it does, you know, obviously being on the Hellborn side, it's going to be a little bit easier to take that quickly.
Pebbles is waiting and waiting and waiting very patiently. Again, this warded side is here. We'll see if Fade can come on over and perhaps give them the vision to counter it, to Maybe not, though. Fade actually isn't nearby them just yet. He's currently in the jungle, and once again going to use this invis right there. Kongor is, yeah, he's got to be resurrecting very shortly. I mean, half it seems like they feel it is. Okay, they are going to counter this warded side here. So this up, they're right on cue. Yeah. Right as it gets destroyed, Kongor is like, hey, guys, what's up? So in we go for the Hellborn team. They're going to go for the Kongor kill very quickly, and you know, for Pikachu, it's got to be frustrating because they just lost vision as he respawned, and you know, so they might have figured like they might have fallen back initially, but no, they just went straight into it, and it's going to be a Kongor kill. This will be the third one, right? I mean, yeah. So token on Wretched Hag and bananas on Pebbles.
And Hag actually has enough to buy that sheep stick as well. Oh, I mean, these are some huge items coming out, and actually, even on top of that, the demonic breastplate for Pebbles would be up in like another 300 gold or something like that. So those would be really, really huge pickups. If you get those 2 pickups and then barrier on top of that, you're basically okay. It's one thing to have a 10k gold lead, but as we see sometimes where, okay, like say they have a 5k gold lead, but they're hoarding up like, you know, 4k here, 5k that, like it doesn't really matter that you have that lead because you're not using that gold for anything effective. If they're able to spend all of their gold right here, like a sheep stick on Hag, demonic on Pebbles, now with the token of life and bananas, it would be so difficult to fight that team.
It would, yeah. I mean, again, you do look back at this Legion side, and most certainly the team fight is there, but as you just put it, I mean, you're not only dealing with this team over here and the heroes that they have, you're dealing with all the items and the farm that they have now. I mean, Wretched Hag is level 24. That's 5 levels higher than Draconis, more levels higher than anyone else on the team. So she really is in a very, very good spot here for the Hellborn side amongst everything that's going on now.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, she can buy the sheep stick. She's not doing it just yet.
You know, now that I think about it, Nullstone would actually be really, really good for her.
Oh, they're going to jump on a Magnus right here, and he just gets annihilated. He does. Yes, he does have enough barely for a buyback. It would be his last buyback, but Draconis also getting cut. Magnus did a buyback. Draconis falls, though. He, too, has a buyback, but Pikachu just kind of falling apart here. I mean, one pick happens, another pick happens. And just like that, it was going to be already difficult, and now you're going to be pushing into the base. Now, again, Draconis can buy back, so. But there's those items being purchased, too, as you talked about.
Geometers plus demonic.
Wait, Geometers?
Yeah.
Really? Wow. Okay, so that's why he was saving up more gold. Yeah, the Firebrand and the Pattern most certainly being delivered. You were in line, Trev. Holy crap. So, Geometers, Bane's Savage Mace here on Wretched Hag. Not often we get to see the Geos being on him, but... He's level 25 on top of that. Draconis, is he going to buy back is the question. I mean, you got to think he has to. It's just a matter of when. But it's going to be close.
Yeah, and it's going to be annoying, too, because there's nothing worse than buying back when you have, like, 10 seconds left, but you have to buy back, you know? I have a feeling it's going to come down to that.
Now, the Geometer's Bane on top of it just being, you know, a decent damage output item for Wretched Hag. Remember, too, it gets the Keeper Root. I mean, it gives him just another way to get out of that. He's going to be locked in right here. But look at Bobbles getting Sheep Sticks. Dorsberry going to be some Hag right there. Bobbles will barely survive. Root coming out in the background. That's the first to remember. He does have another one to use, which he can use any second. Nobody's getting locked down. He can't use it. And down goes Keeper the Force. Cataclysmic all going off on Mr. P right there. But Mr. P needs to be careful. He's very vulnerable. Oh, the Bat Blast in the face just decimates him right there. He buys back a second time. He's going to be coming back in. But the damage is just too much here on the Hellborn side. Keeper the Force will fall. Again, they catch Draconis. He wants to go tail for tail with Wretched Hag. It ain't going to happen, though. The team support comes in. Draconis will fall right here. Now, Wretched Hag did go down, and actually that was after the token, but she buys back, and she's probably going to go post-haste here. Yep, there we go. Goes the post-haste. She's going to be porting in, and I believe that should do it for GG's here as far as Pikachu's concerned. It's just too much in the end. There's the vote to concede, and yes, Havin will take game number 1 here over Pikachu in the Gold Division Winter Bracket Semifinals. And again, what was a very entertaining game, most certainly here, Trove.
Yeah, definitely. And big plays, big carry there coming out from Wretched Hag. I mean,
yeah.
he really did play that well, and he played that exceptionally well as the Wretched Hag and carried them with tons of items and so much damage coming out. I mean, when you saw that Bat Blast coming out at the very end there on Draconis, yeah. I mean, yeah, you had other things coming onto him, but it looked like it almost one-shot him with the Hellflower applied. So yeah, well played.
It was devastating. Yeah, well played all around. And again, I go back to the point I made kind of midway through that game where, you know, both teams obviously played very well. But, again, this is the Gold Division here. And so, you know, tuning in, you know, as casters, as spectating, I mean, yeah, okay, we got Gold Division. Let's see what these guys are about. You know, we saw right here, this is definitely some of the better HoN we've seen, honestly, lately. Yeah. So it really is cool to see that here in the Gold Division, knowing that even it goes beyond just Diamond and down the line. So But Team Hade, they do take the first game, and we are going to go into a short break here with that said before we come back with what is going to be game number 2, of course. So sit tight, guys. We have game number 2 going to be coming up here next. We have Pikachu taking on Team Hade. Stay tuned. Careful here.